who you were before changes. So if you had a fear of crowds, your heart may take away that fear.
And I think just, maybe the feeling I get is that when we talk to people about going into the heart space, it's almost like an automatic wall comes up. Like,
yes,
you can't live in this world from your heart space. Like, I need my mind. I've got to go to work. I've got business to conduct and so on. So could you just talk about, it's not like we're throwing the mind away or sacrificing it. It's more like putting it in its proper position, how you describe the engine.
Yes.
But like, just could you like somehow explain it a bit more to like everyday experience for like the normal person who's getting up, going work and so on, is scared like if they follow their heart, they're going to not do anything.
There's probably two ways. There's two parts of this answer that I want to do. One is through counselling sessions that I do, and just give you an explanation on that and what the mind does to close down the heart. And we'll start with that first.
Okay.
So quite often I get the opportunity to work with people who've lost children or loved ones. So it's a very traumatic time. These people can be in the state of grief for 10 years afterwards. So what actually happens is, and I should say, we do a 15-minute meditation, and many times these people get to feel their loved ones. Okay? What happens when something traumatic happens in our life, where, say, it is a loved one taken from us, and they can just leave our lives or they can pass. The mind sends this area down here a signal saying you're in pain. Close your heart.
We all know that feeling.
So we close the heart. But what you're meant to do is leave your heart open. Because when you shut your heart, you actually shut the send and receive ability. So you can't receive the loving energy that spirit still wants to send you. Okay. So when we do the session, many times they open their heart and they get to feel the energies of that loved one again. Okay. Now your heart doesn't feel pain, sorrow, any emotion other than love. It's your mind that creates that. Now, yes, you've got to go through grief, but you can go through grief with an open heart. And when you do that, you do not stay in grief. Because grief is only my ego. Who's grieving?
So true, yeah.
No. I'm remorsing my loss of my times that I'm going to spend with that entity.
Yeah.
It's only me.
And it's really interesting because just even the other day I was upset. So, I'm all about honouring your emotion, but don't get too caught up in it, but don't suppress it, So I'm like upset and I was like crying and I was like, oh, my heart hurts. But it was like kind of semi-fake, it felt to me, because it was like I was just kind of saying what I've repeatedly said to myself in the past. And then I thought, well, does my heart really hurt? And I thought, no, like, I'm really sad at the situation and circumstances of what, I'm upset about. But like, it's not enough. Like, it was actually, I was aware that it was actually in my mind and it wasn't like my heart.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's so easy just to like run with, oh, my heart is broken, my heart hurts, and blah, 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 So, yeah, I can totally relate to what you just said.
And I must say, like, once you start following your heart, we've given our minds control for so many years. Don't beat yourself up if you go through a day and you forget to connect with your heart.
Yeah.
It'll come second nature to you. And as the more you connect with your heart, the less you even have to tap.
Yeah.
Because you do it automatically.
And again, it's a practice. It's not because a lot of people want this like, oh, I'm so enlightened because I went to this workshop, I read this book, and it could happen. But You know, I mean, I'm not gonna like say it doesn't happen, but generally speaking, I say to my friends, you know, that it's like going to the gym. Like when you want to work out or have this great body, like you put in the effort. You don't quit because you went one day and you didn't look like a supermodel when you came out of there. You know, so again, it's a practice.
It certainly is, and you must have done my workshop because I explain it exactly the same way. The heart muscle is unused. So when you go to the gym for the first time, you don't get out there and bench press 100 kilos or 200 pounds or whatever it is. What you do is you start light, all right, and a lot of repetitions. And then you build up and build up and build up. With the heart, same thing. Use it for simple things like, should I turn the light on? Is it for my highest good that I go to sleep now? All these questions that you actually ask your mind. So turn it and ask your heart and listen and follow your heart. And when your heart gives you an answer, thank it. Gratitude, very important. The more gratitude, the more thankful you are for each and everything. Like just before this interview started, I was lying on grass outside in the sun and I was appreciating the sun. And the more that I appreciated the sun, the more my heart grew. And all of a sudden I'm lying out in the sun and I'm basically in ecstasy. That's what love does. Okay? And you know, why do I have that love? Because I talk to my heart. And it's there for everybody. And I just want to add this. Your heart is not my heart. Just because my heart tells me to do something doesn't mean that you do the same thing.
Interesting.
Your heart will lead you and guide you where you need to go. You don't need to follow anyone. The only person you need to follow is you. If your heart takes you down the track to follow this for 6 months, go and follow it.
Yeah.
But do not give yourself entirely over, because all you're doing is reverting back to the mind, allowing yourself to be led.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I totally digress. So you were answering it in two parts. The question about the concern a lot of mainstream people, let's say, would have about being in heart space that much and like putting the brain aside, and you mentioned the counselling and you said it was twofold, the answer.
So for normal day situations, being in your heart is the best way to be. Because what happens is when you're in a heart-centered space, you're actually in a conscious space. You're totally conscious in everything you do. You're not on automatic. Therefore, you are very much aware. You're aware of the people around you.
Interesting.
Okay. You're aware of every decision that you make. And in making those decisions, if you are aware and you're following your heart, you make the right decisions.
And it's interesting because if it just kind of makes so much sense, because if your mind is more likely to have you running on autopilot than your heart ever would.
Yes. So I think Zen talk about conscious meditation, doing everything perfectly. All right, so that is a conscious meditation. The heart connection is about being totally conscious 24 hours a day. So even in your dreams, I do it in my dreams.
Interesting.
Right? Become aware in my dreams.
Do you want to share a little bit about that with us? I don't know how to do that.
Well, what you do is, during your dreams, you become aware. And you ask, should I follow this dream? And if you get no, then you change the dream. Because your mind can still get you when you're dreaming.
Interesting. Okay. Because I love doing dream work and so on, and I've never thought...
You've never stopped to dream?
I've never stopped to dream in order to take it in a different direction.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people who do a lot of activity consciously in dream. It's just I've only realized twice that, I'm having a dream now. And then,
okay.
you know, so, but I know people are at different levels of how consciously aware they are
Yes.
of being in a dream. But you can redirect it or just choose another
Yes.
dream altogether.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you're in a dream that is not for your highest good, it may be beautiful,
It's interesting.
but why waste time, as we know it, on something that's not going to be beneficial for you?
So it's almost like the same rules apply in this world, this dream world,
Yes.
and that dream state.
Absolutely, of course. And you're following your heart, which is your connection to the universe, all right? Your soul connection to infinite space, infinite intelligence, source, creator, life, God, prana, whatever it might be. Yeah.
And so then that can, so what in essence we're saying is that can be done in any state. So you can be wide awake,
Yes.
you could be drowsy,
Yes.
you could be on, can I say, drugs and alcohol and stuff and still get heart-centered if you needed to?
I've never tried.
Okay. If somebody tries, please write us and tell us how that goes.
While you're at it, your heart won't stop you
Uh-huh.
from participating in having a good time.
Okay, that's a good thing because I think we don't want to be heart-centered and meditating all day. We still want to live a full life, right?
Yeah.
So.
You're a physical being. You're here to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what your heart will do, maybe monitor how much you have.
Interesting. Okay.
So you can, in my case, I don't do drugs, but in my old life, I used to love having a beer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my heart will allow me to have wine or beer. It just doesn't allow me to have 24.
Okay, yeah. I don't think that would be in your highest good. Okay, so but even in the dream state, in semi-dream states,
Yes.
in fully conscious state, we can still actively get connected to our heart.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
available at
And
any time.
you can in other states. Like the more you drink, you can still connect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have to be very powerful in your connection because your mind will take over.
Take off.
Mm.
Okay.
And I imagine the same with drugs.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So would you like to just share with the audience a little bit about where they can find more information, purchase your book, sign up for workshops? I'm guessing you have a website.
Yes, I do. It's astonishyourself.com.au, and I think you'll put the little
Yeah, we'll put
scroll
all the
across the bottom.
information out there.
All right. Workshops at the moment, I'm just completing my last one at the moment.
Oh, okay.
The next ones won't be until June. If you want information, just email me or contact me.
Okay.
So, but preferably email me, and that information will be there.
Yeah, that's all on your website already, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I will do is, if there's enough people who want a workshop, then I'll go to that town.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So as a community in Los Angeles, if we wanted to bring him back, we can do that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll be back here mid-May.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, well, thank you, Patrick. It was an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah.
And I will be doing your workshop, so I'll let you folks know how it goes. Okay, so this is Anjula Ram for Conscious Life News. Thank you.
Thanks, Anjula.